Okay, everyone, so the objective of today's lesson is to find words that convey tone in a story. So let me explain. That means today we're going to be looking for key words, otherwise known as vocabulary words. We're going to be finding the key words in a story that indicate tone. So what is tone exactly? Well, we can think of tone as the overall attitude in a text or in a story. So if we look back at some of our vocabulary words, some of the words indicate sadness or happiness or frustration. That would be the tone of our story. So if someone says, "I'm upset about something," that means the tone would be sadness or them being upset. And sometimes we have words that indicate a change of tone in a story, which means that the tone of the story goes from one tone to another. Okay? So we're going to be practicing with some of that today, and we're going to be reading some of our passages. And as we're reading, I want you to think about some of those words that indicate an emotional aspect of the story, that attitude that's known as tone. So think about words, and especially words in our vocabulary list, that portray an emotion, and it's likely that's going to portray our tone. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reading a passage from our text, the Parker Inheritance, and I'm going to be looking for those key words that indicate tone or a change of tone. Okay? So I'm going to be reading through that and looking for some of those words that we find on our vocabulary list. And I'm going to be annotating those words as I see them. Remember, as we annotate, that means we write down the page number where we find the word on and describe where we find the word. So let me show you an example. So we refer back to our vocabulary list and we think of the words that we want to find. We write the page number those words are found on, we write down the word that we found, and we write down the sentence in which the word is being used in. So let's practice that together, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and read a passage from chapter 2. So Candace was still getting used to her mom's small afro. It had barely been a month since her mom had cut off all her hair in order to go natural. It looked good, but it was strange after the long, straight hair her mother had all of Candace's life. Still, the big chop was about number 117 on the list of life-changing things that had happened over the past couple of years. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. So let's refer back to our vocabulary list. I know that one of the words or the combination of words that we're looking for is life-changing. And so in this passage, we read life-changing in the passage. So I would write down, referring back to our example of annotation, I would write down the word, which would be life-changing, the page number I found it on, which is page number 6, and the sentence that the word was used in. So in this case, the sentence is, still, the big chop was about number 117 on the list of life-changing things that had happened over the past couple of years. So I'd write down all of that and annotate that in the text. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone? So now what you're going to do is you're going to read through the entirety of chapter 2, and you're going to use your vocabulary word list as a reference. You're going to see how often you can find your vocabulary words in the chapter, and you're going to annotate them. It's okay if you don't finish the whole chapter today, but I want you to annotate as many of those tone-conveying words as you find, okay? Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so let's get started.